It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS.
Let's get this going. Happy Good Morning Friday to us all. It's Friday the 13th. Who cares? Let's get to your top 5 at 6, shall we? How about this? Number 5, the WWE Saturday night's main event tomorrow night. Jesse Ventura's return.
Wow.
Yeah. And I want to be here. I'm still alive. I'm still kicking. And I want to be here when this passes into law.
Well, he's talking about legalizing weed in Minnesota, but I don't know if he'll still be alive by the time you can legally buy it at a dispensary, but I digress.
My man did his part. You know, he one of the many ants that just got into that ant bridge across the river. You know what I mean? They sacrificed so much so that future subsequent generations can get stoned as wiffle ball bats whenever they want. The Body is back on Saturday night's main event, also on NBC. Wow. Been a while since NBC has been rocking professional wrestling, but here they are. And of course, Jesse very famously blew up with WWE back in the WWF, and then it was WWE, and then they brought Hulk Hogan in, and then Hulk pushed him out, and there was bad blood, and now all these years later, he's back, and as it should be, a nice full circle moment for the Body.
Yeah, always good to see those old wrestlers that roided up so much in the past still alive and kicking and moving around. Welcome back, Jesse, from Mexico or wherever he's been hanging out lately.
I totally agree. Anytime I see any of those wrestlers that show up and look even like passably still with it or together, I'm like, man, good for you. Well done, because that has not been an easy ride for a lot of those guys. Number 4 on your top 5 at 6. Oh, we love our dogs. I don't remember a time in my life when I didn't love dogs. I was born to a family with dog. We replaced that dog with another and another. And I had dogs my whole life. There's only been probably a handful, maybe 5 or 6 years, sincerely, in my life where I didn't have a dog. And I know a lot of us agree. Check this out. Archaeologists in Alaska found evidence recently showing dogs being an active part of human communities going back now 12,000 years.
Been at it
there
for a
were
while.
people that were saying between 9 and 10,000. That was the standards. That was the accepted conventional wisdom. Now they're going, no, 12,000 years, right near the end of the Ice Age. There is evidence. They were saying, now, these are not the dogs we're seeing now. These are somewhat tamed wolves rather than fully domesticated dogs. But the indigenous people of the region in Alaska where they found these, clearly had them in their lives. They were an active part of their lives. Their bones buried alongside human bones, et cetera, et cetera. Dogs and humans living together, complete pandemonium. 12,000 years ago, the wolves were running with our bros, and that's good to know.
Hey, guys. You ready to let the dogs out?
I'm ready. And for exactly that same period of time, cats have hated us.
Oh, yeah.
And yet we still try. I don't know why.
It's very true.
Mother effers.
It's kind of funny. Our cat, Milo, is going to be 10. And in the last 6 months, he has, I'm not making this up, decided, I think I like these people.
Yeah,
I think I'm
coming around.
I think if they sit totally still for 20, 30 minutes in a chair, like say they're watching a movie, then I'll approach.
Yeah.
But you can't move. You got to sit perfectly still. You have to be like riveted. I mean, we got to have like Sophie's Choice on to get that cat. But then, when you just can't move, you can't breathe, you're so freaked out. And then all of a sudden it's like, hey, what's up, man? You want to give me a little scratch here? So, yeah, screw cats. Okay, listen. Here's number 3 in your top 5 and 6. A poll of American workers says the average worker feels like they need a vacation about every 110 days.
What? That seems like a hell of a long time. I was thinking every 10 days.
I was thinking 110 days of vacation sounds like something I could use right now.
Oh, you're thinking of Europe.
That's exactly right. The crazy thing, and we see this every year, at the end of every year, there's always these workplace results and statistics. Most Americans don't use all of their vacation days. Still, it's always a thing.
Yeah. Yeah, that blows my mind. I think I've made it clear with each job I've started, I'm not leaving vacation days on the table.
No.
It's amazing to me when management says, oh, they always give you that look like, oh, you're you're going to take a vacation, huh? Like they're uncomfortable, like you've hugged them just a little too long or tightly. It's like, come on.
The average for 2024, the average American worker left 5 extra vacation days on the table.
Don't do it.
Silly workers.
Yeah,
Get the days off.
Yeah, I bet they bitch about their job every day.
Well, of course they do. That's kind of how it is. I mean, if you take your vacation days, you have no right to bitch. Some other nonsense we've convinced ourselves of. Number 2 on your top 5 at 6. Let's follow up on this New Jersey drone situation.
Wow.
White House officials came out and said, hey, listen, we're getting all these reports. We're aware of it. We're investigating. All we have proof of is lawfully operated manned aircraft.
Oh, that settles it.
That settles it. There's no evidence that the drone sightings pose a national security or even public safety threat, and also no evidence that these drones are the work of a foreign adversary. Now, why did people think that might be the case? A congressman from New Jersey named Jeff Van Drew gave an interview on Fox News, and he said very high sources informed him that the drones may be originating from an Iranian mothership stationed off the east coast of the United States.
Well, they still can't hobble together a nuclear device, but yet they have an Iranian mothership up in Spy. Right. Okay.
Jeff Van Drew, a man known for being able to make a bong out of anything.
I think Senator Blumenthal said maybe we ought to just shoot him down to be safe. All right. Calm down there, John Wayne.
Chill.
Good God.
Yeah, what could go wrong? By the way, I love when people give credit to highly placed sources, anonymous sources high in the government said it may be drones from an Iranian mothership, but also maybe a bunch of guys from the Hudson Valley who just lost control of their drones because they're on meth. You can make up any situation. It may be that.
Could be a Cessna. It could be a Piper Cub.
Yes.
Could be, I don't know. They're
that
hovering.
checks out.
Well, now we've got over there on the West Coast. They're freaking out. Eugene, Oregon, did you hear about this? 4 pilots report mysterious lights moving at extreme speeds. We have a couple of the pilots here.
We're seeing 3 or 4 targets. They're all altitudes up and down. It's pretty crazy. They're shooting way up. We'd say maybe up to the 50s, it looks like.
The 4 different lights going up and down. I'm getting a few reports, but you're seeing it right in front of you now, too, as well?
Moving in like a circle, like a corkscrew pattern. Visually, I have eyes on what looks like an aircraft strobe that's at my 2 o'clock.
There you go, going up to 50,000 feet. Extreme speeds.
Yowza. I'll take that a little more seriously than the mothership talk. But then again, Oregon is just the land where weird things happen. So, you just got to bear that in mind.
Yeah, Eugene, very close to Florence, Oregon, where they blew up the whale. Remember that?
Oh, yeah.
We're going to revisit that. I'm just saying, they think a little differently out there. By the way, there's always an expert thinks that it's just Starlink satellites reflecting light. It's called satellite flare, and it's fooled pilots before. But if this is the alien invasion, if they're wiping out Earth or just enslaving us, can you just give us Christmas? Just give us Christmas.
Give us Christmas, and also at the same time, what the hell took you so long?
Yeah, right.
Hey, let's have a little morning love for Arden Hills, our good friends just a little north of the station here. Happy to know you're with us, Arden Hills. Represent. Come on.
Yeah, I love me some Arden Hills. I'm trying to remember that steakhouse. Lindy's Steakhouse. It's the place for steak, I believe, is the lit up sign out front. I haven't been there in a while, but love me some Lindy's. Hope I'm getting that right.
Good morning, Arden Hills. Here's your number 1 story on the top 5 at 6. Oh, boy, Vikings fans have an odd moment when they have to cheer for the Packers Sunday night because after the Rams beat the Niners last night, the Vikings are still not officially a playoff team. So if the Packers beat Seattle, the Vikings are 100% in that game. Now, obviously, if they beat the Bears on Monday, they're also in, but they can have that secured playoff spot before kickoff Monday night with a Green Bay win on Sunday night. So if you're a Vikings fan, you don't have to necessarily cheer for the Packers, but you can cheer against the Seahawks, if that makes sense.
That does make sense. Purple Pete, my buddy Purple Pete, said, no, I'd rather see the Packers lose. We'll do it on our own. So
there you go.
That's what Purple Pete has to say.
That's very true. I like that, but the Vikings do have to take care of business. And as we talked about yesterday, hey, man, the top spot in that division is still up for grabs because Ryder's Detroit Lions got to go to Buffalo, and that's going to be a bit of a dogfight. If you need Ryder on Sunday, she'd probably appreciate a phone call or an email or a text. Oh, I don't know, from like, say, 12 to 3 all afternoon. Just give her something to distract the woman, for God's sake.
It's a late game, but,
Oh, it is the late game.
Yeah.
I apologize.
just throwing that out there.
Call that 3:30 to 6:30.
I'm already nervous.
Pre-game from 12 to 3.
Look at she really is. Look, seriously, she's like, it's funny. Football's fun.
I'm already thinking, like, if we lose this and then you go all the way to the big one, which, knock on wood, then it'd be a revenge game, so maybe I want them to lose on. I don't know.
Well, there you go. Overthinking
it. The things we put ourselves through that involve nothing, we have no control over anything, and we will come up with every possible scenario just to prepare for the emotional turmoil sure to follow. Sports are the best.
I concede to the Detroit Lions up in the Super Bowl like by 34 points with 2 minutes remaining, and that's when the aliens invade. And it's like, no, after the parade.
Oh, that's awesome.
Will you go to Detroit for the parade, Ryder?
I don't know. We'll have to figure out how we can get the whole show up there, right?
Well, hold on.
Everybody's coming with.
Well, that begs another follow-up question. Have you ever been to Detroit, Ryder?
No, I'm trying to talk. I'm trying to make it like a 2025 thing.
Oh, my God. This one's living and dying for the Lions. Never even been there.
Mr. Ryder on board, but...
Oh, my gosh. All right. Hey, Stereophonics have a great song called Mr. Ryder. Spelled differently, but, it's still the same kind of vibe. Right. Yeah, fair enough. Hey, there's your top 5 at 6. If you're wondering about alligator protocols, I know there's not a lot of gators up in Minnesota, but occasionally you might come across one. You might find yourself in a tough spot. Alligator protocols, we do have some interesting, unexpected protocols to share. Here's a little bit of one quickly.
Somebody stick their finger in his butt.
Did you hear that? Somebody stick their finger up his where?
Somebody stick their finger in his butt.
Up his butt?
Yeah, alligator butts. That's right. That's right. We're going there. Hang tight.
Connect with us on the KQ Talk and Text line. 651-989-ROCK. That's 651-989-ROCK. 92 KQRS.
That was Tesla with Signs, a cover of a 1971 hit by the Canadian rock group The Five-Man Electrical Band. That's who originally did that song. And when Tesla did MTV Unplugged, they put out an album called Five-Man Acoustical Band, if you remember. Yeah. That's what the whole point of that was. Five-Man Electrical Band originally hit the streets known as the Staccatos. You went from that name to another name. Okay. That's what they call a lateral move in the terms of band names right there for sure. Hey, I don't know how far you'll go to avoid waking somebody up. I grew up in a house where you've heard of squatters' rights. The Gormans had sleepers' rights. If somebody was asleep on the couch in the den, you just walk through quietly. Like, it didn't matter who. It was the only time in my family's life where your age didn't... I was the youngest. I waited in line. I never sat in the front seat of the car. But if I were asleep, everybody was quiet. It was just a weird thing. But one of the weird things of that is I hate to be wakened. I hate when people wake me up. Yeah. I wake up like, what? What happened? Like, no matter what happens, my first few thoughts are pretty scary. But I'm not like... But I don't think people are afraid of that happening. It's just they know, well, Steve's a little weird when he first wakes up. So I'm just curious, and all of this to say, I'm curious about a woman named Katie and how awful she must be when she first wakes up. Katie must be the worst person ever to wake up, ever. Yeah. And I'll tell you why I think that. Because Katie's husband was in Florida recently with some friends, and they were out hunting alligators, as one does.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
And an alligator came up and chomped down on Katie's husband's hand.
Whoops.
And in the midst of, oh my God, how do we get our friend's hand out of the alligator? listen to, okay, you're going to hear several people talking and suggesting what to do, but listen to what the guy whose arm is in an alligator's mouth says.
Joey!
God damn it, Joey! Come here.
It's okay. Just get him open up. Do not wake Katie up, whatever you guys do.
You need to grab the bottom jaw. Ethan, get on the jaw. Get on the jaw and pull down.
Let me get him inside. You can
Somebody stick their finger in his butt. What can I...
Pull down.
What?
So from the guy whose arm is in an alligator's mouth that is clamped, you hear him say, "Do not wake Katie up, whatever you do."
Yeah.
And then his buddy's suggestion: somebody stick a finger in his butt. And I'm like, the gator's butt or the guy's whose arm is in the gator's butt? That's what I was confused by.
I mean,
whose butt are we probing?
If you're probing, my hand is in the alligator's mouth, and you stick. I would think either. You stick it in the guy's. My hand's coming out because I'm going to deal with you and your finger now. And if it's the alligator, I think all you have to do is threaten. I think the moment he said that, the alligator's eyes got real wide.
Yep.
And let's try it again.
Joey!
God damn it, Joey!
Oh, Joey.
It's okay. Just get him open up. Do not wake Katie up, whatever you guys do.
You need to grab the bottom jaw. Ethan, get on the jaw. Get on the jaw and pull down.
Let me get him inside. You can
Somebody stick their finger in his butt. What can I...
Pull down.
Buddy's trying to sort it out in the heat of the moment. Nothing better.
So calmly offering, this is within 6 seconds of the alligator clamping. Do not wake Katie up, no matter what you do.
Listen, I'm sure Katie told him 87 times to quit messing around with the alligators. Look what happened.
Katie's always right.
Yes.
I remember having poker parties with the guys. I have the guys over, newlywed. And Stacy worked very early in the morning. I did not. I worked afternoons in radio at the time. And so it was Don't Wake Stacy was the name of our game during the poker game. And I don't know if you remember in Tommy Boy, the beginning of the movie where Chris Farley passes out onto the coffee table and just smashes the glass coffee table.
Sure.
Yeah, Lloyd Brotherton did that before I think the movie was even released and woke Stacy up. It came down to glass shards everywhere. And don't wake the wife. That's a game. And then when you have kids, it's don't wake daddy while he takes his nap. But early in the marriage, don't wake the wife. I got to hear that audio one more time. That's great.
Joey!
God damn it, Joey!
What have you done?
Just get him open up. Do not wake Katie up, whatever you guys do.
You need to grab the bottom jaw.
7 seconds.
Ethan, get on the jaw. Get on the jaw and pull down.
Let me get him inside. You can
Somebody stick their finger in his butt.
Thank you.
Pull down.
And by the way, he didn't lose a hand out of the deal. Came out of it fairly
got out
unscathed. Yeah, and his buddy there, damn it, Joey. It's like, you're going to screw this up for all of us with your hand in the mouth.
Just going to give you guys a little heads up. My new pretty much line in any situation, like here at the station, engineer comes in and goes, "Hey, guys, let me just... was that a fuse out? I think I got to replace one. Anytime I see people contemplating how to handle something, I will weigh in with, just put a finger up his butt. That's gonna be when I'm watching the guy at Jimmy John's and he's like, "Hey, dude, give me some more red onions. We're out." And the guy and the clerk looks at him a little funny. I'm just gonna go, just stick a finger up his butt. That's my new catch. Just for any situation, I'm gonna add that to the list of things that might help.
God, is this a State Fair T-shirt? I think this is a State Fair T-shirt. It might be.
Yeah, it is.
By the way, I did a little Googling, and there was an internet myth there for a while that Steve Irwin, the croc hunter, the late great, said at some point that if you want to get a croc to release its grip, its jaw, stick a finger up its butt. But it turns out that he never said that. So just kind of the internet doing its thing, right?
Wow. All right. Well, the more you know, as they say. How about this? Speaking of the more you know, what happened on this day back in the day? On December the 13th, 1973, Detroit, Michigan became the first city to receive a franchise for the new World Football League.
Yeah.
The league that was going to turn the NFL upside down. The first of many who didn't come close. Bonus points for anybody who remembers the name of the first World Football League team, the Detroit, fill in the blank, Ryder.
I don't have it.
Losers. No, I don't know.
The Detroit Wheels.
Oh, okay.
I see what they did
Wheels.
there. Yeah, that
Really?
sucks. Yeah.
Yeah, you guys sat around and talked about that one, did you?
Wheels.
Yeah, the wheels. On this day in 1977, a tragic day that I remember very clearly because it happened close to where I was living. The University of Evansville in southwestern Indiana, their basketball team, that includes coaches, trainers, sportscasters, several boosters, all killed when the plane had chartered, the school chartered to fly this team to Notre Dame for a game crashed right after takeoff. It's like the Marshall story that you hear. The Marshall football team was killed in a plane crash. Evansville was one of those what we now call mid-majors, a small school that was a basketball powerhouse. And here's the really crazy part of what was already tragic. One player missed the flight. He was sick. One player missed the flight. 2 weeks later, around Christmas, he's in his hometown and he's driving to see his little brother play a high school basketball game, and he's killed in a car crash.
What?
It's just the worst thing ever.
When it's your time, I guess.
I wasn't going to tell that story, but I said, well, it's Friday the 13th. Screw it. I'll tell it.
Yeah.
There, let's just get that jinx removed. On this day in 1983, there was an NBA game at a time before SportsCenter and before daily 247 sports clips. You used to hear about things a day before you'd see the highlights. Did you hear what happened? Did you hear Daryl Dawkins broke a backboard? Did you hear Michael Jordan?
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. And then the word got out. Did you hear about the Nuggets and the Pistons last night? And people were talking about it, and until I read it in a newspaper, I didn't believe it. Denver beat Detroit 186 to 184 in one basketball game, not two.
Wow.
186 to 184, triple overtime. Did anyone think of crossing midcourt to play defense?
That's what when people talk about, these games are all pre-planned and fixed and they know who the champion's going to be, those knuckleheads.
No.
And then I hear about stuff like this and I go, maybe, because clearly a whole bunch of professional athletes just decided to sit it out on defense. Let's just see how many points we can score.
By the way, for everybody who talks about the NBA, I don't like it anymore. It's not the same game I knew. One of the things you got to recognize is you'll never see a game like that. People play full court defense in the NBA now. It's a very, very, very different game. That's the sort of thing that will never happen again. On this day in 1998, Gary Anderson, a field goal kicker for the
Pittsburgh Steelers.
No.
All-time scoring leader for the Steelers, Gary Anderson.
But in 1998, he was on the Minnesota Vikings. That's right. He kicked 6 field goals in a game against Baltimore. And in that 6 field goals connected at that point, he set an NFL record for 34 straight field goals without a miss. And he went all the way to the NFC Championship game before. Hang on, I'm checking my notes. Oh, wait, never mind. We don't want to talk about that.
Yeah.
We don't want to talk about that. It still bums me out.
And the Ring of Honor in Pittsburgh, however.
Hey,
retired number 1, yeah.
That's incredible. Did all that just to come here and destroy a city. Okay, great job, Gary.
It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS. It's the KQ Morning Show on Minnesota's Classic Rock, 92 KQRS.
If you're listening in Becker, we're thinking of you. Cheers to you on a cold Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
Hope everybody's doing great up in Becker. And if you're back in Becker for the holidays, let's say you're back at home, your parents' home. Are you feeling a little, worked up? Do you get worked up when you get back home? Because a lot of us, no matter how old we get, you go back to the hometown, you end up back in your parents' house, you end up back in your teen years bedroom, and it all comes flooding back to you. Why am I, what's the word? So damned horny. What's happening to me? What is going on? Last time I was in this room, that's right, I was 17. That explains it.
Oh, look at that. Old tube sock is still under the bed. Mom didn't find that. I know.
I thought it was an ankle cast.
Surprised it didn't crawl out of the room, Just evolved into a living life form.
That's it. One or the other.
A snake.
For sure. 52% of single people going home for the holidays say they do hope, if not fully plan, to hook up in their childhood bedroom.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean they're gonna, but they're certainly looking forward to it. This is just one of those bizarre things that, we've all been there. I mean, there's a certain time, especially if you're still in your, late teens, early 20s, those early years when you're out on your own, whether you're paying your own bills or not, you get back home and you're like, man, yeah, I used to sit in this room by myself all the time, and hang out with myself. And then now that you're a quote unquote adult, it just all comes roaring back. I'm curious if anybody wants to share a story about the old childhood bedroom hookup. Hit us up. 651-989-ROCK is the KQ Talk and text line. You are welcome to share a tale or two with us.
I did it. I remember I grew up on a farm, like 15 miles out of a town of 350 people. So it didn't happen at the farmhouse. Mom and Dad were always there. They never went anywhere. And by the way, there were 1 million places to park in South Dakota. South Dakota is just a big parking F-lot out there is what that is. So I didn't get around to it, but the woman I ended up marrying, I brought it up twice in one morning. I'm probably going to get a letter from a lawyer. It was important to me. Our first trip back to the house, Mom and Dad had not arrived yet. I'm like, oh my God. But here, make it super uncomfortable for yourselves, Mom and Dad. We talked about this, I don't know, earlier this week it came up, and I laid it on one of my kids, Taylor. I was like, you guys didn't, because I was divorced at the time, and they would like to come over and crash at my place when I wasn't there. Yeah. And I went, you guys weren't, you didn't, and you know what I got? Dad, don't ask question. I'm like, I don't. I can't. Anyway, what do you want for Christmas? Cash again? Just a cash transfer? Well, let's never bring this up again.
This conversation came up a couple years ago at the house.
About
coming back home from college, and the kids and our son Connell said, "Yeah, remember when I came home?" Christmas, my freshman year, was just out with the guys again, and I just said, yeah. He goes, but I do remember thinking like, wow, this is really weird, and now we all got good fake IDs. We're going out to bars, we're doing this stuff, and then the next 2 years it was COVID. So yeah, no, I didn't bring anyone to the house ever. It was just like this. Sure. He was heading in one direction. Then he's like, oh yeah, and then a pandemic happened, and you guys wouldn't allow anyone else in the house. Remember? And I'm like, I'm sorry, we were trying not to die, bud. Yeah. So my bad.
You're a little more thankful, just a hair thankful now for that pandemic.
Jeez, no
dodged a bullet there.
Do you know how many times we rewatched The Sopranos? That was great. But the holidays bring out a randiness to everybody, whether you're going back to your childhood home, whether you've got, of course, the many times aforementioned holiday parties, work parties, Christmas parties with the company. It's just you're walking into a room full of landmines. We all know that. Yeah. A psychotherapist I just read named Lucy Beresford said, listen, the best strategy to eliminate a big landmine at the Christmas party, one of the big, now there's several big ones, and they all involve drinking too much. There's the one where you tell your boss what you really think. Bad idea. And then there's the one where you hook up with a coworker, an even worse idea. And Lucy Beresford, again, psychotherapist who studies workplace relationships and all sorts of protocols, said, here's a really good idea for women as much as men, but even more for women before the Christmas party. Just vigorously fondle yourself.
At the Christmas party?
No, before you go. Her words, not mine. Her words, not mine. She said it's very simple. If you take care of yourself beforehand, it'll calm you down and then help you make a more rational decision about whether or not to get it on with a coworker. So there you have it. Just a little bit of... Or, as every guy I've ever known would refer to it as, oh, you mean like 6 o'clock? Yeah.
Yeah, right. I mean, guys, and you're supposed to do that before you go out for a date, right? That first date, it calms you down. You're not so horny. You're not going to say stupid things or do stupid things or make the pass at the wrong time. I get it, but... It works at a point in your life, I think. But when you're a young man or a young woman and those hormones are firing, you could literally run to the bathroom 3 or 4 times during the Christmas party, and you're still going to make a poor decision if someone gives you a wink.
Yeah, I feel like you're already torqued up or what, like you're revving yourself up. It could make it even worse, even tougher to walk away from that situation.
Yeah, it's a slippery slope.
Guys, all these, stop saying slippery, stop saying torqued. There's at least one teen listening who's like right now, again, going, hang on, pull over, I got to go to the bathroom. Yeah, you can't say a word like torqued, Ryder. That's all I'm saying.
That's all it takes.
What, twisting force? No, don't say that to me. But we are just, we are who we are, and thankfully, we are people in this country who God, oh my God, do we love Pornhub. Listen to this.
Yeah.
92 million visitors per day on the website Pornhub. 92 million.
Wow.
Not hits, separate visitors. 92 million a day. Most by far are American. This is a Canadian website, by the way. Did you know Pornhub's Canadian?
I didn't.
It is?
Even more now.
That's why they're
All
so
right.
polite. They keep uploading new material. They're Canadian. 5 billion more views in 24 than they had in 23. The average American spends 10 minutes and 37 seconds on the site at every hit.
Oh, well,
10
that's...
minutes and 37
seems high.
seconds.
it does. Well, yeah.
I can explain it.
Okay.
About a third of those visitors now are women.
Okay.
Oh, I see. Yeah, women, they've got to find a mood. I think for the other 2/3, the guys that are on there, the reason it takes 10 minutes is it takes about 8 minutes to find that video where it looks kind of like your wife or your girlfriend. You know? Oh, there she is. Or that coworker. Oh, that looks just like her. This one will do. It takes a little while. You got to sift through some.
Sure.
Yeah. No.
Well, the 10 minutes and 37 seconds. Again, the thing with the women is clearly, I would like to see the exact number of, it's like, oh, hold on, no, don't.
Yeah.
You ruined it. Hang on. Stop. Shh. Stop. Stop breathing. Stop breathing.
Yeah.
Stop blinking.
Any videos where the guy doesn't go, oh, yeah, baby.
They just gotta
they don't
find
like
the
that.
right video. You know how it is.
Uh-huh.
That's how that goes. So, but anyway, the good people of Pornhub, by the way, if you want to know how much new content is going up in a year, not 1 million minutes, 1 million hours.
Gee.
1 million hours?
Uploaded this year alone. 1 million hours in 2024. We really need to get outside more often.
The winters are long, Steve. You know this by now. The winters are very long, and they're cold, and they're dark, and the phone is so bright. I don't know if is everyone use their phone now? I mean, I'm just saying. I don't know.
Yeah.
They get the laptop out. Yeah, but the phone is, that coincided right about the time you could password protect your phone. I think I'll do this on my phone. What's your password again? Oh, it's, I forget, actually.
The reason I'm so terrified of the coming apocalypse involving like Google glasses and the Amazon glasses where you put on a pair of glasses that look normal, but it's giving you all the stuff that's on your phone. And nobody else, they look like normal glasses to anybody else, but the number of people who will be walking down the street just watching porn now. It's just gonna you're just gonna blast it to the site. And in fact, I'm sure they're already working on an app like the filters on Instagram where you can look like a cat or you can look like a teddy bear. Those glasses are gonna have the thing where you just look at someone across the desk in a business. You're in a meeting at work and you can just look. I don't even want to finish the thought. I'm sorry. This is too much.
Steve, I'm going to go there because there is AI porn now. There is AI porn now. A buddy told me about. I read it somewhere. No, but there is AI porn now where you can take, say, your beloved one's face or someone you're fantasizing about and put that on the porn model. It looks shockingly real.
Oh,
and it is a little bit. I was surprised how turned on I was by my own face on a porn model.
That's really weird. I'm gonna
Japanese woman, I think.
I've got my
Brian.
making sure my high school yearbooks. Yeah, I know right where they are. Okay, listen.
Yes.
One thing leads to another. It is the holiday spirit. If you have youngsters in your life, you're going to be buying toys. We'll let you know what the most dangerous toy under the tree this year might be. Hang tight.
Connect with us on the KQ Talk and Text line. 651-989-ROCK. That's 651-989-ROCK. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. It is Friday, December the 13th, which means we are right around the corner from a beautiful morning when the kids wake up and run downstairs and open up presents under the tree. Nothing better than seeing the look on your kid's face when he opens up that toy or that game or that present he always wanted. And a long time ago, like 1950, there was a new thing on the market. The same guy that brought us the Erector set. Do you remember the Erector set?
I do, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, awesome. But we had one of those, and one of my older brothers had the Erector set. Loved it as a kid. There's another game, and it's not quite It's well. Let me go back. One of these games that was available in 1950 just sold at an auction for $13,000.
Wow.
$13,000 someone paid. And I don't know if it's because the person that paid $13,000 had it when they were little and it just brought back great memories. But I can tell you this. It's a little out there. It's the Gilbert U-238 Atomic Energy Lab. That's the name. That's the name of a science kit that was mass marketed in 1950. The Gilbert U-238 Atomic Energy Lab. Now, here's the fun part, right? Now, you hear about people like, you get the PlayStation, you get the Wii, you're playing Guitar Hero, and you're like, oh, man, I just played a face-melting solo. The Gilbert U-238 Atomic Energy Lab could literally melt your face because it came with actual uranium.
Really? Wow.
A science kit under the tree. 4 little glass jars. Each had a tiny amount of radioactive material inside, but there was enough that the Geiger counter that was included in the Atomic Energy Lab, you could test to see that it was still radioactive.
Yay! And we wonder why cancer really took off in the last 5 or 6 decades.
Yeah.
Wow.
And they said, well, as long as you don't open the jars, it's not really all that dangerous.
Yeah. What kid's going to open the jar? How would a jar possibly get broke? Full of uranium. How would it end up in your sister's oatmeal? Your creamed wheat or whatever if you didn't break the jar a little bit? Well, it was the atomic age. I mean, back then, we hear all the stories. I mean, when I was a kid in the 70s, we were putting our heads between our legs, and in case the big nuke went off outside,
that's right,
they would find us in that fun little position.
2 Christmases, 1950 and 1951, less than 5,000 sets were actually sold, but that means over 4,000 were.
Yeah.
It was pulled from the market. Not because they realized this is insanity to put uranium under Christmas trees for American children, but because of, quote, government restrictions, it was just too hard to get the uranium.
Oh, well, yeah.
Oh, sorry, kids.
Bummer.
Sorry, kids. The uranium's just getting harder and harder to come by. You're going to have to, I don't know, go draw a doodle with a crayon. Anything else. It's unbelievable. And by the packaging on this thing, it really does look amazing. And I have to wonder, did any kid that actually ever received this gift use it appropriately? And the answer is no, of course not. You give me a jar of uranium when I'm 7, I'm throwing that thing up in the air.
Yeah, exactly. Like I said, it's going to end up on something of my sister's, her little Barbie. Have a little uranium in her hair. See if we can get her hair to fall out. Well, I do see now on the story that the retail price in the 1950s was $49.50.
Oh my God. You could get an Edsel for $50 back then.
I mean, it couldn't have been a lot of kids that that would have ended up under their tree. Just the rich kids, and who cares if they get cancer?
Yeah, that's great.
I'm kidding. That's a tasteless joke. Adjusted for inflation, it says here, over $650 today. So yeah, you'd really have to hate your kid. I mean, you know what they. There are terrorist countries out there right now. Terrorists right now going, because they all love the KQ Morning Show. They're probably streaming. But no, they're thinking right now to themselves, we're trying to kill to get this stuff, and they were giving it out in toy sets in America. God, this is why terrorists hate us right here. Well, they got rid of the Gilbert U-238 Atomic Energy Lab and said, here, have lawn darts instead.
The only toy ever mass-marketed more dangerous than uranium, lawn darts. Hasbro's lawn darts were actually called javelin darts. This is, kind of crazy. In 1970, a 4-year-old did die from a javelin dart through the head, into the head.
Yeah.
There were at least 2 confirmed deaths. 6,100 lawn dart emergency room injuries on the record between 1970 and 1988 when they were finally taken off the shelves. 6,100 children were like, thanks, Mom and Dad. Oops, my older brother punctured my body with a lawn dart. Who could have seen that coming?
Boys and girls, this was life before a consumer safety board.
Yeah,
this
yes,
it was. Things we got away with. Now you've got warning stickers on Nerf guns, for crying out loud. Some But yeah, we were trying to put our eyes out, trying to kill each other back in the day. It was a fun time to be a kid. Here we are. Although we're going back to the 50s. I do remember lawn darts, though, and we'd get them out.
Oh, hell yeah.
And then the parents would get drunk. So the kids, we play a game called, you remember 500, right?
Of course.
Throw the football or the baseball or whatever down there, and whoever caught it, if it was a hopper or whatever, you'd do that with lawn darts.
Yeah, we had lawn darts, and we also had, it's amazing to look back, though. Like, my parents put lawn darts in the hands of kids who we thought it was a fun game. We invented our own game, and all you needed was one other person and a football. And the game was called Block That Kick, and you run at them and punt the ball into them with everything you have. And those boys, the Gorman boys, punting footballs into each other at full pace. They were handed lawn darts. Our parents, they just totally wanted to off half of us. Like, we just can't take this anymore. Let's let them thin the herd.
All right. We had games called Kill the Carrier. It actually had a more distasteful name at the time, but we would always call it Kill the Carrier out there. It was, it was living on the edge, man.
This is the greatest toy story I think I've ever heard, because I was unaware of the fact. You remember the movies? There were movies, Flubber, Son of Flubber.
Oh, yeah.
It was about the bouncy sort of rubbery compound this guy made. So in the late 1960s, Hasbro developed a toy to sell at home. They developed Flubber so you could have it. They had these sort of mysterious translucent balls. It was a silly putty lookalike. They called it Flubber. They were it was this gooey substance. It was just something, hey, make up your own games with this thing called Flubber, kids.
Yeah.
Well, in the late 1960s, Hasbro was testing this, and they recognized that thousands of kids were suddenly developing nasty rashes and sore throats after playing with Flubber. I'm not making this
toxic.
Up. They were trying to get rid of them. They tried to burn them. They wouldn't. They couldn't get rid of them. They dumped a bunch in the ocean. They kept floating back up. They buried 50,000 balls of Flubber in a field behind a Hasbro factory, okay? Buried them. Paved the field over, turned it into a parking lot. 35 years later, reports of zombie silly putty rising through the cracks in the asphalt on hot summer days. When it gets really hot, this stuff was surfacing through the asphalt cracks.
Oh, my God. But for one magical year, that's how the Litchfield High School basketball team won their state championship. Wasn't that the plot in Flubber? Didn't they put Flubber on the bottom of their Chuck tennis shoes back then, and their Chucks, and they won a basketball championship or something? I'm trying to remember. It's in black and white. It was a long time ago. Yeah,
one of those things.
Yeah, good for us.
Let's see. 2007, they rebooted the Easy Bake Oven. Those were all the rage when we were kids.
Oh, yeah. I remember my sister getting that. And, there wasn't one person in the house, including Dad, that didn't end up with a blister from the Easy Bake Oven.
Right.
Hot as hell. It was a little oven, a plastic and metal oven that got into temperatures like 300-400 degrees. You could bake those crappy little cakes and cookies or whatever.
They're still available, but the 2007 model specifically, when they rebooted it, they brought it back. 250 kids got their hands stuck inside that oven. 77 others were burned, 16 of them third-degree burns. Hasbro recalled 1 million Easy Bake Ovens in 2007. I'm sorry for all the burn victims, but it's just funny to think that they're like, we're still just trying to put 120 volts into these kids' hands and tell them to go have fun baking, honey. Honestly, do you not realize how much safer a real stove is, an oven? The real oven in your kitchen is so much safer than the thing here, honey, take this to your room. Take this to your bedroom and plug it in and go cook food.
Yeah, with your cotton curtains and your shag carpet and unsupervised. Yeah,
exactly.
What could possibly go wrong?
I can't imagine.
It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS. It's the KQ Morning Show on Minnesota's Classic Rock, 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. It is Friday, December the 13th. Good morning, Friday the 13th. We have got James Taylor tickets right here on the table. We'd love to give them away. We need 2 callers. Callers 9 and 2 at 651-989-ROCK. Call in. Get yourself locked into the game. We will play. We will have fun. Someone will win tickets. Someone else will walk away and just curse the day they were born. That's how it works around here. 651-989-ROCK. While we're waiting to turn ourselves over to the game master himself, Brian Zepp, let's talk about Waverly for a moment, shall we? Good morning, Waverly. What's going on up in Waverly?
Out west there, when I take Highway 12 home out to South Dakota, East River out there, I cruise through Waverly. That's what I know about Waverly. I have to stop. There's
never been arrested there.
No, never been arrested in Waverly.
All right,
maybe next time at the Uptown Bar and Grill or something.
Okay. All right. Well, we know that there's some folks in Waverly listening, and if that's the case, good morning. And for anybody else who's listening and you just want to, I don't know, think about Waverly, do it with us. We're all enjoying the thought process here. We love you, Waverly.
Yeah.
All right. I think it's probably time we do this. I love giving away tickets. I love getting contestants on the horn. I just pretty much love everything we do around here.
That's nice.
Yeah, it's Friday the 13th. I'm just trying to put out as many good vibes as I possibly can.
Good plan.
So we're going to play a game today. We're going to give away James Taylor tickets, and we got 2 callers on the phone ready to go. Let's discuss this quickly, though. Now, just a protocol question. Are we going back and forth, or we're doing one contestant at a time? How do you feel?
Yo, Ryder.
I think we should go back and forth as long as one person isn't getting all the easy ones.
Okay. I did say I pre-sold it as the reason you're late is...
Right.
And I'll give you a plot to a famous Christmas movie. However, not necessarily a Christmas movie. I'm just going to throw that.
Okay.
Not that. Necessarily a Christmas movie. Yeah.
All right.
A late change of heart. It's a work in progress. Yeah.
I like that. All right. Well then we're going to go back and forth. We're going to make it hard on everybody. Contestant number 1 is Angela from Apple Valley. Good morning, Angela.
Good morning.
Angela, give me your favorite band.
Oh, I'd have to say right now, I have front row tickets to Dream Theater, so I'll go with that.
Good for
Dream
you.
Theater, right on. Give me your favorite team, any sport.
The let's see. No, the Wild, and then the Vikings have to come after that.
Okay, fair enough.
The Wild.
Wild are on a tear right now. It's good to be a Wild
last night
fan.
They weren't.
No, but there was. I did see a fight. There was a good little.
Yeah.
There were some flat-out fisticuffs going down last night. That was exciting. Contestant number 2, Gary from Elk River. Good morning, Gary.
Hey.
Hey, give me your favorite band.
Lincoln Park.
Wow. All right. Give me your favorite team, any sport.
Florida Gators. Love the, never been to the college, but just been a fan.
Wow. All right.
Yeah.
Tim Tebow fan on the horn right here. All right, so we're playing Sorry I'm Late, and we wish you guys both the best of luck. We're going to start off with Angela.
All right, Angela, Here we go. Plot to a movie. Sorry I'm late, but Christmas is coming, and I started to panic because I needed to make sure my parents buy me a Daisy Red Ryder BB gun. What movie is that?
Oh, boy.
That's a Christmas Story.
That is a Christmas story.
There it is.
I thought you were going to put an eye out there, Angela.
Man.
Yeah, gonna put that out, kid.
Thought we were going to have to put some soap in your mouth. Wash that out. Not in the movie. All right, here we go.
Yeah, oh, yeah. Oh, fudge. But I didn't say fudge. Yeah.
What people will do for a leg lamp. Every year we used to do that promotion at some bar around Minnesota. We'd put a bar of soap in a couple of people's mouth, like 5 people. Would stick a bar of soap in their mouth, and the last one with the bar of soap in their mouth got a cheap little $10 leg lamp. But they would sit there for like 20, 30 minutes. Yeah, gagging and snot coming out of their nose. Yeah. Gary, you're up, buddy.
Okay.
Name this movie. Sorry I'm late, but I hate Christmas, so I devised a plan to ruin it for the Who's, but in the process discovered the Christmas spirit. What movie is that, Gary?
Dr. Seuss, Grinch Who Stole Christmas.
Wow, that's actually a better answer. I just had the Grinch, but you nailed it there,
bang.
man. All right,
right on, Gary. All right, guys, we're off and running. 1 apiece. Well played first round.
All right, Angela, back to you. Sorry I'm late, but I was sleeping one night and was taken on a magical train ride to the North Pole to learn about the spirit of Christmas. What movie?
Oh, my gosh. I just watched that. The Polar Express.
Yeah, it is the Polar Express. Very good.
Yeah.
Going just with easy games. I'm feeling, rather generous. All right, Gary.
It's the season.
Well, I know.
That's a good point.
You got a tiebreaker, Ryder? All right, here we go. Gary. Gary, sorry I'm late, but some asshole in a goalie mask was chasing me with a butcher knife through Camp Crystal Lake. What movie is that?
Is that Halloween?
No, Gary, that's Friday the 13th. Yeah, that was because today is, Friday the 13th. What an a-hole. That Jason is. All right.
Sorry I'm late. I like that.
All right, and here you go. Back to you. Sorry I'm late, but even though I lived at the North Pole with Santa, I realized I was not an elf and set out on a journey to find my human dad.
Oh, my gosh. I just watched this one, too. It is, with Will Ferrell. Oh, my gosh.
5 seconds.
Is it the elf story?
Ryder?
No, don't ask Judge Dredd. Sorry.
Oh, it's just Elf. It's not
just
an elf story. Yeah, just Elf. All right, well, that's okay. We got a tie game with 2 to go here, I think. No. This is going to be the last one. We're only doing 3 apiece.
Gary has a chance to tie right now.
I was doing this while I was watching.
Gary, you need this one to tie, brother. Good luck to you.
All right, here we go, Gary. Gary, sorry I'm late.
Yeah.
I've been busy putting over 500,000 lights on my house and trying to get a Christmas bonus for a new pool and tolerating my lousy cousin Eddie.
For stars, Eddie was great in that movie, but National Lampoon's A Christmas Vacation.
I love it. About ready to do some kissing?
Yeah.
All right, now we have ourselves a tie game, right?
That is a tie. 2 for 3. Yes. So it's time for a tiebreaker. Ryder, have you got something up your sleeve?
Sure, I got one for you. All right, we're going to be doing a lot of shopping this weekend. We're going to Angela first. Tell me how many different ways there are to make change for a $1 bill. How many different combinations of coins you can get when you're making change for a $1 bill.
Angela, you're up first. How many?
26.
26. All right, Gary, what do you think?
9.
There are actually 239 different combinations making change for a $1 bill. So we're going to Angela.
Wow.
Right on.
Man, very well played, both of you guys. Gary, sorry, buddy, to say you're on the outside looking in right now. Angela, you've got the tickets to James Taylor, June 17th at XL Energy Center. Well played. Thank you guys both for calling in. Cheers.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you got it. Man.
Well, just throwing them against the wall, trying to find something that sticks. That was
I like it. Yeah. I'm more blown away by that tiebreaker question. I wouldn't have 239 possible.
Well, you got all your
crazy.
pennies and all your nickels and all your dimes. There's a lot of coinage out there.
Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah.
It does remind me of the good old Phil Hartman SNL films where he worked at the bank that all we do is make change. Do you remember those? He'd be like, a guy walked in, he had a $10 bill, and he said, any chance I can get a 5 and 4 ones and 4 quarters? And I said, you've come to the right place. It was a whole bank where all they did was make change. Because Phil Hartman made anything funny. Basically is how that worked.
The best.
Yeah.
The absolute best, to be short. You can find Steve Gorman and the KQ Morning Show podcast anywhere you get podcasts anytime you want. That podcast is sponsored by our good friends at Devani's Pizza and Hot Hoagies. The KQ talk and text line 651-989-ROCK. We were discussing dangerous toys earlier in the show, and we got a lot of people texting in things we overlooked and forgot. If you've got a dangerous toy in mind, hit us with a text or call 651-989-ROCK. We'll go back to Danger Under the Tree. Hang tight.
Connect with us on the KQ talk and text line 651-989-ROCK. That's 651-989-ROCK. 92 KQRS.
Earlier in the show, we were talking about some of the most dangerous toys ever created, ever marketed, ever sold. We told you about the Gilbert Atomic Energy Lab from 1950, a science kit for the home that literally contained uranium. 4 little tubes of uranium in each science kit. That's a pretty bad one. And then we had a lot of people where we talked about lawn darts or javelin darts was Hasbro's branding. On the KQ Talking text line, a few people said jarts. We called those jarts.
Oh, yeah.
But the one and several people also texted in this one, which we forgot, clackers. Do you remember clackers?
I do remember clackers. I had an older cousin, and she had a pair of clackers. Before there were nunchucks, before I was aware of nunchucks, there was something called clackers, and it was a great way to get a shiner.
It looks, and it's the kind of thing that Conan the Barbarian would throw at his enemies to kill them.
Yeah.
You've got these like balls, these hard plastic balls at the end of these, not strings, but it's
a long string. Yeah,
long string, and you just swing them around and they clack into each other. I guess the idea was you figured out kind of like a hula hoop or a jump rope. You get into a rhythm, and then they just smack into each other in time. And of course, what really happened was they just smacked into other kids' faces.
Yeah, exactly. Good one.
Clackers were completely insane. In fact, they were so horrifying, I clearly blocked them from memory because until I saw the text, I was like, oh my God, it kind of freaked me out. Clackers. Yeah. You'd see somebody, every neighborhood had a Scott Fargus. Wasn't that the bully in Christmas Story? Was it something like that? Fargus? Yeah. Every neighborhood had one guy that was like the clacker pro, and again, he was later replaced by the nunchucks guy. The person who or the butterfly knife guy. Yeah, I'm gonna eat up a lot of my hours getting good at this thing that will never impact my life in any way, except to terrorize other people in my neighborhood. That's the only thing it's good for.
It never even really impressed anyone, did it? I mean, you just kind of went, it was like, okay, you're the weirdo. You're the you're the oddball. But they, must have thought they were so impressive. But I love that.
Bob just texted, clackers had many black eyes from this toy. It was banned after too many. Bob from Stillwater. And they were, in fact, banned. In the 80s, somebody finally just realized, maybe we shouldn't give kids things that will, without a doubt, hurt them badly. Maybe we should just not do that. You know what else was this is true, too. The slip and slide. How many injuries on slip and slides over the years?
Yeah, there was an issue there because you have to stay on the slip and slide, and no one hits it at that perfect degree angle, whatever degree that was 0 degrees where you just hit it perfectly. You end up sliding off and rolling through the lawn. A great way to dislocate a shoulder, lose a tooth, break a nose. Was on the old slip and slide. In fact, I remember when you would go to Sturgis, South Dakota. I don't know if they do this anymore at the Full Throttle Saloon, but there were a group of little people there, and they would come up, and one of them had a harness on his back, and he's like, hey, man, throw me down this slip and slide for $5. And there was a bunch of bowling pins at the end of the slip and slide, and then after he would go through the bowling pins, a fat lady would sit on him. And this wasn't exploitation because they were literally, he was pulling at your, pant leg. Hey, man. So finally my buddy goes, okay, all right. We're having a few beers. And he gives him the $5. And he goes, all right, throw me, man. He's got the little harness on his back. And my buddy decides to really wind up and pitch him down this slip and slide, which, by the way, was in a gravel parking lot. So when he threw him at a bad angle, he ended up just rolling out through the gravel. There was a big ball of dust. I mean, it was just a mess. Yep, there it is, Kevin Bass. Yep, still midget bowling at Full Throttle Saloon.
Yeah.
Thanks, Teach, for checking in this morning. He would know. And, and then the guy would get up and I think I gave him another $5. I'm like, here, go get yourself some Neosporin and
The most important safety tip for a slip and slide is be under 9 years old.
Yes.
That's really what it comes down to.
Yeah.
Once you hit double digit, if you're 10 or older, you're going to hurt yourself. It's just that simple.
And you're the drunk uncle. You know, pretty soon drunk Uncle Frank is like, look out, kids, let me try it. And he whips off his shirt and the beer belly falls out. And then you've got yourself an injury.
Yeah, a lot of winter activities, childhood, not really toys, but sleds, toboggans, all that normal stuff. You take a chance going down a hill, of course, on snow or ice really quickly. Yeah. But the slip and slide to me was the equivalent for my experience as a kid was the time we were sledding on a golf course on a huge hill where everybody went. like, we're going to 14. Everyone go to 14. Had to go to the 14th tee box and go straight down this hill. And some dudes, like I was probably 12, and these guys were like late teens, like bad teenagers. Yeah. And they showed up with a car hood. Just a car hood, and it was waxed. Totally waxed up, and they put it down, top down, and then they would just pig pile 8 or 9 people laying on top of each other on a car hood going down a hill, completely uncontrollable. Not a chance. You can't steer it. You can't do anything. Everything in its way is just getting mowed over. Every person in its way is just getting mowed over. And then they would drag it back up the hill. They had a rope attached to it, and you'd have to pull this heavy-ass car hood up. But every time at the top of the hill, at least there was this whole, it'd be a full minute of, everybody, look out, just the whistling and the clapping. Here it comes again. And it was like they were just saying, we're about to drop an atom bomb here. You can get out of the way. We're giving you 60 seconds warning. Absolutely incredible.
It wasn't a good day out on the sledding hill until someone cartwheeled in the air. Did a full cartwheel in the air, or a 360. Minnesota skiers would understand this one. A Darwin Award given out one year. There are 4 guys sitting there in the chalet after the ski area closes, and they're getting all whipped up. They're pretty drunk, and there are these big pads. Think of the old gym safety pads, that they would throw down, and they put them around the chairlift poles. So when you're skiing down, if you lose control and you hit, they took one of those off the ski lift pole, drug it up the hill, and decided to toboggan down on this pad. 4 guys. And guess which ski pole, lift pole they hit?
Of course.
The one without one of the guys actually ended up dying, head injury. Yeah, one of the guys. This did not happen in Minnesota, but ended up getting a Darwin Award out of that deal.
Oh, that pad was like, I'm going home, bastard.
Yeah,
I'm going home. They must have been magnetized.
Yeah.
Like it matches the post. So when you're looking at Christmas gifts, if you don't want to get a deliberately dangerous toy for a kid, sometimes you do have to buy a present for someone you don't really care for. And I can tell you right now, if you think about the person in your life, it could be a coworker or a family member. Maybe you do a Secret Santa somewhere and you get the name of the person. You're like, I got a tip for you. If that person likes puzzles, and everybody knows at least one jigsaw puzzler. My wife is a puzzle fanatic. Rosemary just knocked out an incredible. It's like the puzzle. She just did a 1,000-piece puzzle with our daughter. They got it over like the Thanksgiving holiday, and she's just stayed at it. It's done. 1,000 pieces, and it's like a painting of an Indonesian temple that looks like it's just the way it's built. It's like the same thing 4 times in a row. So you're like, I mean, it's like all the towers. I can't even describe it because I look at puzzles and I immediately my brain fractures. I can't.
I sweat. I don't
stand it.
No.
So if you have a puzzler in your life and you're going to get them a present, get them a jigsaw puzzle with one missing piece.
No.
I'm saying if you could just you get credit for giving them the thing they love the most, and then you will dominate their central nervous system for the next month while they just lose their mind.
It's such a slow burn. I love it.
Yeah, you've got to really be able to handle the slow burn.
That's cool.
There's also, they also at novelty shops, they sell magic tricks that don't work.
Well, if I'm doing them, none of them work.
But I mean, like by design, like the disappearing coin, but the coin will never disappear if you follow the instructions. Come on, that's pretty good.
That's great. That's great. I like that one. I mean, I don't buy enough gifts for people I love, let alone hate. But this makes me almost want to buy. I don't know if I hate anyone. I was thinking about getting Ryder a Vikings jersey this year. But she would just burn it in effigy.
No, I was going to say,
she'll that's worth some money. That's going on eBay.
Oh, okay.
or it's just a rag for cleaning. Hey, give me the gunk in that purple rag over there. I got to go
wiping up some Viking tears.
That's oh boy, here we go.
I asked for that. I lobbed that one into you.
I think the best one, though, is if you're somebody that doesn't have kids and your friends or your sisters or brothers do get their kids something just ridiculously noisy. My cousin got his nephew a snare drum when he was 4.
Yeah.
It was epic.
Yeah, That's created some family rifts there. Those little, I forget what we ended up getting, my brother and his kids, but it was super loud, and I got it just for that reason. So obnoxious. It was just the kid all they had to do was touch it, and it was like siren alarms would go off, but they were animal sounds, and I don't think that thing ever had batteries in it. I'm pretty sure.
When Connell was 6 months old, his first Christmas, Pete, my band's manager, Pete, sent a toy phone, like a big, like a whatever, some band, play, what is it? What's the Mattel Play School. It was a phone that was the size of almost like your shoe. I mean, it was this huge plastic phone with giant buttons. Yeah. And it didn't have a volume control. It just had one volume, ear splitting. And every number was a different tone. And then you could hit a button to make it ring. It had about 13 different sounds it would make. And we opened it and we were like, oh, we're going to take a picture of the baby holding it. But he's like 6 months old. It's like, he's not going to care. But nice thought, I guess. Uh-huh. But then, no, the 6-month-old actually really quickly was like, oh, that thing's great. I love it. And we're sitting at home and just all day, it would be just in the background for hours. And at one point it was do 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 do, and it got really dark and we freaked out. He figured out the Close Encounters song, but that's a whole different story. But no, it made us so crazy. And then I explained it once to Pete, and he was laughing so hard about that. And for probably a year, once a week, I would call Pete at a time when I knew he couldn't answer his phone, and I would leave a 4-minute voicemail of those sounds. I would just eat up all of his, because back then, you had to delete messages because use up all the space. And that thing, we suffered so much with that damn phone. It was absolutely brutal.
Revenge, a dish best served loud.
Man, no kidding. I have a couple different brothers at times back in the day would say they would have young lads growing up and they go, he really wants some drums. Could you get him a drum kit? And I would say, well, I mean, I'll get him and Ludwig had this toy, like not really a toy, but just a youngster's drum kit.
Okay.
And I could get those at cost. And I was like, oh, yeah. And it was so funny because then I would know what was going to happen, which is any kid you give a drum kit to, they love it for about 3 days. And then it's like, what? This sucks. This isn't what I hear. This isn't the music I hear in my head. I don't know what I'm doing. So it's a short-lived thing, but it's still fun. It's exciting under the tree. But 2 different brothers, I sent them one of those. And 2 different brothers' wives, next time I saw them, just looked at me like, what is wrong with you? Why would you bring that into my home? We have to live there. I'm like, hey, man, we're just spreading the gift of rhythm,
The gift of rhythm.
Yeah. There's your band name.
Oh, my God, yeah. Rhythm gifting. There's something there. There's something we can work with. Hey, speaking of bands, if you're looking for a gig tonight on a cold Friday night at the VFW in Uptown, our buddy Candace Wheeler's rocking with her band Sabotage. If you like Black Sabbath, we know you love Candace. Go see Sabotage at the VFW Uptown. And then there's also Made in Minneapolis. You get an evening of Black Sabbath and Iron Maiden music. Just a little, just a friendly hookup for you out there if you're looking for some great metal in Uptown tonight. Zepp and I saw Sabotage last year, and I've said it before. I was like, I thought it'd be good, but I didn't think it was going to be good. Crap! They're working hard. They really learned all this stuff, and they're all badasses. It's a great band.
Yeah, it was cool because I didn't have to lie to her. I can actually go and say, hey, you guys sound pretty good.
Well, that's the unspoken part of it, which is, you're like, you can't imagine. Like I always say, I have 3 nephews who are professional musicians, and I will always recommend you go see one of their bands. There's one band, and that band is playing 7th Street Entry tonight. Illiterate Light. Oh, yeah, Illiterate Light at 7th Street Entry tonight.
No kidding.
My nephew Jeff. Now he's got a brother and a cousin who are both great musicians, and I would never say you should go see them. I love them, but not that they're not good. But you would just be like, oh, you're just being an uncle. With Illiterate Light, I'm not being an uncle. I'm like, that band is absolutely World class, incredible. So that's two great options for live music tonight. If you're in Minneapolis looking for something to do, if you're wondering what's going on so far today outside of local rock music, then stick around because the top 5 at 9 are coming up. Hang tight.
It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS. It's the KQ Morning Show on Minnesota's Classic Rock, 92 KQRS.
That song, Have a Cigar, in the studio, Pink Floyd, working on it. Roger Waters was not the right singer. David Gilmour was not the right singer. They were frustrated. Neither one of them was delivering the goods. And folk musician Roy Harper was in the building. And he was hanging out a little bit. And then he said, well, you guys want me to take a crack at it? And they were like, yeah, go for it. And that's why Roy Harper sings Pink Floyd's Have a Cigar. Roy Harper, if you're going, where do I know that name? Well, there's a Led Zeppelin song called Hats Off to Roy Harper. He's just one of those guys, Johnny on the scene. He was everybody's friend. And had, I'm sure, a fine life and career of his own. Never to the heights of Zeppelin or Pink Floyd, but you got to love a guy who's just hanging out at the studio. And it's like, oh, yeah, let me take a pass at it. And then it ends up, that's one of Pink Floyd's. I don't think of that as one of their heaviest, deepest, most iconic songs, but probably most people do. That's a song everybody knows.
Yeah.
For sure.
I'm just
definitely.
saying. Right guy at the right time. So listen, when someone says, do you want to sing this song? Just take a look at it. You could be the next Roy Harper. You could be the next guy someone has to go to great lengths to explain who the hell you are. Let's get to the top 5 at 9 for a Friday the 13th. Shall we? Here we go. 5 stories we think you're going to want to know about. Number 5, Jesse Ventura, the body, the former governor. You know him, a man who very famously was exorcised, shunned from WWE years ago, is back. He made a surprise appearance during WWE SmackDown at the Target Center last week, and now he's announced he will be broadcasting Saturday night's main event on NBC. That show is back, and along with Jesse Ventura. So the initial run went through 1991 on NBC, and then it's been dormant since the early 2000s. But now it's back. Saturday night's main event. Tomorrow night, 7 p.m. The body getting back in the good graces of the WWE.
Well, I'm glad to hear the bod's still in good enough shape to climb back into the ring. We haven't heard from him in quite a while around here. And, of course, who can forget the movie Predator?
You're hit. You're bleeding, man. I ain't got time to bleed.
Oh, I ain't got time to bleed.
He was on Bill Simmons' podcast a week ago. Bill Simmons is a big wrestling fan, was thrilled to see Jesse back. And he told the whole story of, basically Hulk Hogan just maneuvering behind the scenes to get him ousted. No love lost between the body and the Hulkster, let me tell you.
No.
Just not. That's 2 wrestlers that didn't pull punches, if you see where I'm going.
No, not at all.
Letting each other have it.
They were really kind of going for the same turf there a little while. I mean, Jesse's always kind of been, positioned himself as the bad guy. Hulk started out doing that in his career, and then Hulkamania positioned himself as the good guy, and they were born to be enemies. I don't know if that's a personal thing. You think that's personal between those two? Maybe it could be.
At this point, maybe not initially, but it didn't take long.
Because Hulkamania made all the money. Hulkster went to the top of the pyramid, and Jesse languished a little bit.
That's
before
right.
He became our governor.
He said he's like, Hulk took my whole thing, took my voice, took the act, took the T-shirt. It's pretty fascinating stuff. But anyway, he's back. He's back on the side of WWE. So it's good to know Jesse's still out there punching the clock on behalf of wrestling. Number 4 on your top 5 at 9. We talked about drone sightings in New Jersey have blown up. SUV-sized drones have been reported. A lot of videos of lights. It's never great, clear video where you know exactly what you're looking at. But countless reports from New Jersey and New York State since the summer. The government has gotten involved. They're doing some investigation. White House National Security Communications Advisor John Kirby said, we have no evidence that any of these drone sightings pose a national security or a public safety threat. He said, what you're seeing are actually lawfully operated manned aircraft, which may explain why they're the size of cars. There's actually somebody in those little private drone-looking flying machines. There may not be a national security threat, but I don't trust anybody that I know to fly one of those things safely.
No, and it came from the government. They just as well have came out and said, you know what? Actually, there are aliens. The gig's up. Here it is. Because, and I'm thinking about you out there this morning, Jeff. Just yesterday, I threatened to block his number. I'm like, dude, I'm not doing this with you. We all know the paranoid population, right? The ones that get really whipped up about this. That's my buddy Jeff, right down there in Bloomington. And he was going off yesterday. He goes, Zup, I hope you guys are going to really expose what's going on the air. I'm like, no, we're not going to really expose. Shut up. Man, I mean, we don't know, but it doesn't help when government officials come out and say, no, there's nothing to worry about. These are totally manned. They're not from Iran. They're not from space. Everything's fine, everyone.
One of their 47-foot motor lifeboats was followed by between 12 and 30 of these drones.
Our initial assessment here is that these are not drones or activities coming from a foreign entity or adversary.
All right, that's the Pentagon press secretary, but yesterday Kirby came out and said, no, nothing to worry about. These are just, we're looking into it. The FBI's checking it out. We'll get back to you.
I got to ask about the numbers he listed, between 12 and 30. That's a
big range.
That's a big range. I mean, between 25 and 30, I'm not going to think twice about it. Between 12 and 30, what 4-year-old was counting drones?
Yeah, right.
9, 17, 4. Who comes up with 12 and 30? That's like when somebody says there's certain number of things I always think about. It's when somebody says between two numbers, but then gives the higher number first.
Yeah,
that's always weird to me. I don't know. He had like 26 or 21 rebounds. I'm like, what? No, that doesn't make sense. You got to go lower number first. And the other one is, this is a Southern thing, is people will say, like my former band, the Black Crows. This is a thing people say. Hey, man, you in Black Crow? No, Black Crows. There's an S. Yeah. They will, and then the other one is with counting out change. Here's your change. I gave him 17 cents. No, you gave me 17 cents.
Yeah, that bugs me too.
He asked, and I gave him 17 cents right back. No, dude, put another on that end of cent.
Yeah.
It's 17 cents. Anyway, that's just the little things I notice. Between 12 and 30. No, I'm not taking you seriously.
Over there, Jeff, by the way, just texted me. He goes, dude, they're messing with the weather. Well, bring him on here to the Midwest. You know what I'd like? 65 tomorrow and sunny would be nice. So truck him on out here if you could.
I mean, if they're looking for props and you're giving it to them, so maybe they're going to be kind. Pop in a favor while you're at it. Number 3 on your top 5 at 9. The average American worker is nuts because the average American worker leaves 5 vacation days a year unused.
Stop that.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
The average worker does say, however, every about 110 days, I need a little break to feel sane. So, like 3 times a year, I need a week off, or I just need a break. I got to get a getaway. I get it. It's and I totally get that too. I mean, 110 days between, tapping out. I'd lose my mind a little bit. I'm very happy to take every day. If you offer me 10 vacation days, I promise you, I'll get 11 out of you.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just how it's going to work.
I personally have a hard time relating to this because I got into radio. I decided not to work for a living. So every day is really a kind of a day off. I'm just dorking around with some friends in the morning, which is what I'd probably, maybe not so early. It'd be more of an afternoon thing. But take your time off. Don't leave any vacation days on the table. Come on.
It absolutely makes no sense. You get those days. They're part of your job. I wouldn't have been surprised if it said people leave 1 or 2 days off. The average worker 5 days. Oh, come on. We gotta work harder at not working. I think as a general trend.
Well said.
Number 2 on your top 5 at 9. Boy, I don't know if your wife is hard to deal with when you first wake her up in the morning. I mean, some people wake up, they can be a little irritated. They can be, we all know someone who's like, don't talk to me till I've had my coffee. And when someone says that, I tend to take them seriously. I figure, you've been called a bitch or an asshole so many times, you actually know. But I'm mentioning this because there's a gal out there named Katie who now the world knows she is hell on wheels first thing in the morning. And I know that because of something her husband said after an alligator clamped down on his arm. Katie's husband and friends are hunting alligators in Florida, and they find one, and the gator clamps on my dude's forearm. And when it happens and everybody goes, oh, my God, oh, no, oh, no. Listen to the first thing the guy says about his wife, Katie.
Joey! Joey! God damn it, Joey. Come here. He ain't going nowhere. It's okay. Just get him open up. Do not wake Katie up, whatever you guys do.
You need to grab the bottom jaw. Ethan, get on the jaw. Get on the jaw and pull down.
Let me get him inside. You can
Somebody stick their finger in his butt.
What can I...
Pull down.
Okay, so two moments of greatness there. The guy with his arm in an alligator's mouth. Do not wake Katie up no matter what you do.
I get
Seriously, what on earth? What did you do to Katie before she went to sleep? First of all, what part of the fight is going to come back out? But the other one, you hear one of his friends. Imagine sitting there. There's 3 or 4 of you. An alligator has your friend's arm locked in his mouth, in his teeth, and you think to say, someone stick a finger up his butt.
Let me get him inside. You can
Somebody stick their finger in his butt.
What can I...
All right, thanks.
The only question I have is, whose butt are we talking about?
Yeah, right. Well, if I get the job done, if you stick your finger up my butt, the hand is coming out of the gator's mouth. Or if it's going up the gator's butt, I mean, maybe they just know enough English. They've hung around humans long enough that it's like, okay, playtime's over.
Yeah.
Ryder had a good read on this earlier, I thought, when she said, right before Katie went to bed, all his buddies showed up at the house. They all crack a beer, and she turns and looks at her husband and says, now, you guys aren't going to go hunting any gators tonight, are you? Oh, no.
That's right.
No, honey. No gators
Perfect.
tonight. We're just hanging out. And then...
Joey! God damn it, Joey. Come here. He ain't going nowhere. It's okay. Just get him open up. Do not wake Katie up, whatever you guys do.
All right, you need to grab the bottom jaw. Ethan, get on the jaw. Get on the jaw and pull down.
Let me get him inside. You can
Somebody stick their finger in his butt.
What can I...
Pull down.
What's especially great about that is all of our buddies are there, and we all know this. This is our buddy group. We've got the one buddy going, God, Zep, don't.
Yeah.
What are you doing,
yeah.
you dumbass? And then you've got the buddy going, do you want me to stick my finger up his butt? They're all there. The gang's all there.
Sure, everybody you need.
Yeah.
Hey, I'd like to say hey to our listeners over in Inver Grove Heights. Good morning, Inver Grove Heightsians.
Yeah, I tell you what, the Inverwood Golf Course, beautiful course to lose a lot of golf balls on.
If I'm gonna lose golf balls, I do want it to be scenic.
Oh, it's very beautiful. Yeah, very nice.
Yeah, there's nothing worse than playing like a links course. It's just flat with no trees, and you're like, "Where's the ball? How did I lose the ball out here?
It's got to be here.
Give me some trees, give me some dog legs, give me some bunkers, and then I don't mind losing 66 golf balls in 18 holes." Number 1 on your top 5 at 9, Vikings hosting the Bears for Monday night. It's always a big game when it's division. It's always a big game when you're trying to go to 12-2 for crying out loud. I think it's safe to say, barring some calamitous unforeseen collapse, the Vikings will be a playoff team, but they could be secured even before that game. All they need to have happen is for the Green Bay Packers to beat the Seattle Seahawks on Sunday night.
I mean, we'll do it ourselves. Thanks.
I think we're not asking you to cheer for the Packers, Vikings fans, but we're saying if there is a silver lining to a Packers win, it's that the Vikings clinch before they even get in. But yes, to your point, Zep, they're playing the Bears. They're gonna win, and that will clinch them as well. So just do your national service, cheer for Seattle to embarrass the Packers.
Yeah.
We want to see the Green Bay Packers pantsed repeatedly on national television Sunday night, and then we want to come out Monday night and kick the living snot right out of the Chicago Bears. And I think both of those are well, one of them is a safe bet, and the other's a hopeful bet. Last night, by the way, in one of the most boring football games ever. Did you catch any of the Niners-Rams?
Oh, I mean, it's just, I think after the first quarter it was 3-0. I did check halftime before I went to bed. I think it was 3-3, and I was out.
I think it was 6-3 at half.
At halftime,
just
all right.
Unbearable. The over-under was like 48 points, and I was like, what in the hell? Completely nuts, that game last night. But if the Rams had lost, the Vikings would have already clinched. But but they did. But the Rams did not lose. They're looking like a pretty good football team, honestly, and it all started when they beat the Vikings ass that game. So playoff football in the in the the ramifications of these games now. Every game really does matter. We do not have to discuss the fact that the Buffalo Bills are really good this year and damn near unbeatable at home. And I'm looking at their schedule. Who do the Bills have? Hang on. They got. I enjoy watching them play football because they've got MVP this year, Josh Allen for sure.
Yeah, they're hot.
Oh, they're playing the Detroit Lions.
They are going to be at Ford Field.
Oh, I thought it was in Buffalo.
Yeah.
Oh, well, then that's going to make that Bills.
You will be hearing some Jared Goff chants.
Okay, well, that's going to make that Bills victory that much more painful. Wow.
That's going to be a hell of a game right there.
It is going to be fun to watch, no matter what.
Oh, yeah.
For everybody else who's not me.
I was going to say, keep on trying, kid.
Already getting agitated.
Yeah, keep on shining that turd. I'm not believing a word you're saying about it. It's going to be fun regardless. The hell's wrong with you? All right, there's your top 5 at 9.
Get the KQ Morning Show podcast wherever you listen. 92 KQRS.